have to say, as someone who grew up outside of Washington, the Baltimore area, I used to make every class trip when I was a kid to the Smithsonian. And I don't think in my wildest dreams I ever imagined I'd be back here today with this great honor. So thank you very much. So on behalf of Sony Pictures Television, we're proud to be here at the Smithsonian National Museum of American History to donate these artifacts and cement the iconic status of Breaking Bad. At Sony, our goal is to produce entertainment that moves people and makes a lasting impact. Breaking Bad has exceeded all those expectations. Some have called Breaking Bad one of the greatest shows in the history of television. I'll stop on this one. It is the greatest show in the history of television.
The truth is, we didn't start that fantastically. We weren't sure we were going to make it here. The journey actually started with a phone call, and that phone call was to Vince Gilligan. We pitched him. We said, hey, listen, sci-fi is underrepresented on television. You did the X-Files. You did it with such excellence. We're ready. Let's do it. And he said, guys, as you'll hear him speak, thank you so much, in all his humility and kindness. And he said, I don't think so. But I've got this guy in my head. He's a character. It's not a show, but he's just in there, and I can't get him out. And he described Walter White. And when you describe Walter White, as Dwight did, you start to hear about a guy that you don't really root for and you don't really feel anything for. Maybe contempt, maybe disdain. You certainly judge him. But he came alive. And as Vince talked about Walter White and his journey and what this ambitious show was going to take on, it became a show. It wasn't just an idea.
I honestly thought Breaking Bad would never even get made. But if you had told me in 2005 that props from our show would eventually find their way into the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History. Wow. Let me say that again because it sounds so good. If you had told me that back then, I would have thought that you were using too much of Walter White's product. I make my living with words, and words kind of failed me in the last few weeks, contemplating this amazing honor that the Smithsonian has given us.
When I brought the script home and I said, I think this is going to happen, and I gave it to my wife, Robin, to read, and I said, before you read it, just know that it shoots in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And she read it, and then as soon as she was finished, I'm watching her, and she tossed the script down and said, shit. In a very loving, supportive way.
We're glad that it clicked with people. There's something about Breaking Bad that made the audience invest in the show. It wasn't a passive watching. You couldn't just say, well, I can give or take or leave it. I'll watch a few and then I won't watch it. It was something that became very addictive. You had to find out what happened to this man and what are the ramifications of his decisions.
I'm overwhelmed. I can't even imagine. Washington, D.C. is my hometown. And for a snot-nosed kid from Chilham Heights, it's a big deal.
I think there will always be more that will come from Breaking Bad that people ever could imagine. This is truly remarkable of what this means, not just for us being actors and working on a show, but for people that have affected history. Being in this museum means Breaking Bad has changed history.
And it was easily the greatest script I've ever read. So of course I was unbelievably terrified. And I did a couple scenes, and I remember apologizing afterwards because I just kept forgetting my lines. And Vince said, "Don't worry, it's okay." And for some reason, they ended up hiring me. So thank you, thank God, because of course it changed my life. It changed everyone's life involved with Breaking Bad. I mean, who knew Meth could really bring us to the Smithsonian? It's unbelievable.